The little boy seemed to have touched something. He brought it to his nose to smell it. His mom sensed something was wrong and went to check. It turned out to be a dog's paw, and it seemed their dog had been dismembered. The mother held the boy and screamed frantically. Meanwhile, a girl with a full set of gear and a cold expression was walking forward. Upon entering the room, he saw his sister attempting to commit suicide by slitting her wrists. He told her that slitting wrists was too girly and that she should just slit her throat for efficiency. It turns out they were a pair of twisted sisters. Every day, the two of them researched new ways to die. They even swore together that they didn't wish to be born on the same day, month, and year, but they hoped to die on the same day, month, and year. They studied ways to die that would attract attention and made sure to document it with a camera. That evening, their mom told them that there had been wild beasts spotted nearby and warned them not to go out at night. This served as a reminder for the sisters. They agreed on the surface, but as soon as it got dark, they went out together. As soon as they reached the park, they saw a dead dog, clearly dismembered by something. At that moment, the rocking horse nearby started to move. The younger sister felt a bit scared and was about to turn back home when suddenly a beast appeared. With a piercing scream, the older sister was dragged into the nearby woods. Although the younger sister was terrified, she still ran over, calling out. Just as she found her sister who had run back, the monster came again and started biting. The younger sister threw her camera at the monster, and perhaps the flashing lights made it stop. The two of them held hands and quickly ran down the main road. At that moment, a car came speeding by and hit the monster, sending it flying 40 meters away. The sisters quickly ran away. When the driver stopped the car, the front was covered in blood. He nervously got out to check and found the monster's corpse on the ground. The sisters helped each other back home. Then, something strange happened. The older sister's wounds not only didn't hurt but were healing rapidly before their eyes. The younger sister wanted to call for an ambulance, but the older sister stopped her. She didn't want their mom to know she was hurt. You could say these foreign kids are really bold. After that, the older sister became increasingly unusual. She kept dozing off in class and couldn't straighten up due to stomach pain after class. When faced with teasing, she no longer avoided it like the plague but instead asked to join their little gang. Seeing her sister constantly yelling, the older sister didn't back down in fear. Instead, she went up and kicked the dog, and the dog instantly quieted down. The younger sister felt that the older sister was becoming more and more unusual. Then, they discovered something even stranger. The wounds on the older sister's body started growing white hair, and she began bleeding profusely. They went to the hospital for a checkup, but the doctor said it was all normal. You're just having your period. The younger sister said she was also growing hair. The doctor said that was even more normal. Afterwards, the two of them helplessly went home. The mother found the older sister's blood-stained underwear. She knew it must be her period. But the older sister thought the younger sister had tattled. The younger sister said she must have been bitten by a werewolf. The older sister thought she was talking nonsense. The two of them had a big argument over this. The younger sister started researching werewolves. The older sister became more and more alluring. This is a photo of a werewolf, looking extremely dangerous. That night, the older sister almost became her dinner. After that, the older sister's personality changed drastically. Every night, she dressed seductively and wandered around. Facing the boy she liked at school, she no longer watched him secretly like before. At night, the older sister's body showed another anomaly, growing a small tail. The younger sister quickly sought help from a friend. The friend gave her a silver needle, saying it could purify the blood. The older sister was fooling around with a man in the car when suddenly her spine mutated. She almost bit the man to death. Back in the room, she started vomiting blood and said she accidentally dismembered the neighbor's dog. The younger sister took out the silver needle her friend gave her, and with one prick, the older sister immediately showed sharp fangs. Fortunately, they disappeared quickly. During a basketball game, when she saw her younger sister being bullied, the older sister rushed over and beat the bully up. Seeing the older sister's condition worsening, the younger sister sought out her friend again. The friend said there was a plant called monkshood that could cure her, but it only grows in spring. At night, the neighbor came over to ask the younger sister for the dog. The older sister rushed up and started beating him up again. During the fight, they accidentally knocked over the milk on the table. As a result, the neighbor slipped, hit the corner of the table, and died on the spot. At this moment, the parents drove back home. They hurriedly put the neighbor in the fridge. By the time the parents went upstairs to rest, the neighbor had already turned into a frozen stick. The older sister hit it with a hammer, and 2 of his fingers fell off. Then, they carried the neighbor to the backyard, dug a hole, and buried him there. The next day, my sister started growing fangs. At the dinner table, she wore a hat and didn't dare take it off. Mom asked her what was going on, but my sister didn't say a word and just got up and left. Mom stepped forward and held on to my sister, refusing to let go. At this moment, my sister noticed the monk's hood on the table was actually bought by Mom at the craft store. My sister went up and distracted Mom, and finally, Mom let her go. The next morning, when my sister got up, she blocked me in the bathroom to prevent me from going out and hurting others. Then, I took the monk's hood to a friend and asked what to do. My friend said the best method is injection, but it's uncertain if it will work, and the usage and dosage are unclear, plus there might be side effects. However, I decided to give it a try. After all, there were no better options. So, we started preparing the antidote. First, we plucked the petals, added a bit of distilled water, and then roasted it continuously over a candle. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, my sister was constantly raging at the door. The door was already covered with scratch marks. By the time the antidote was ready, my sister's fingernails had already deformed. My friend said this could be fatal. I still took the syringe and went back home. But the bathroom door had already been broken down. My sister had already gone to school, planning to cause a lot of trouble there. On the way, I heard a child shouting. It turned out the boy my sister bit that night had already mutated. I rushed over with the syringe and injected it into the boy's neck. Unexpectedly, in a short while, the boy returned to normal. This was like conducting a live experiment in advance. By the time I got to the school, the principal was already dead in the office. Next was the school security guard. When I found the guard still alive, I hoped to quickly find someone to save her, or she would mutate like my sister. But she was sent away by a swipe from my sister. While Mom was tidying up the backyard, she found 2 segments on the ground. Then, she dug up a corpse in the backyard. She knew for sure it was the work of her 2 daughters. So, she planned to send her daughters away overnight and then burn the house down to destroy the evidence. However, what she didn't know was that her daughters had already mutated, now with white hair, looking like witches. Even their bodies were covered with tough skin. When I got to my friend's place, I saw my sister attacking my friend. To bring my sister back to her senses, I cut my own hand with a knife. Let the sister's blood merge into her body, but as soon as they walked out of the room, they were knocked out by a friend with a shovel. In the past, it was at this moment that the younger sister told her friend that the antidote prepared during the day was effective, and they just needed to reconfigure it according to the ratio. Now, the top priority is to take the sister back home, as it's too dangerous here. The 2 of them drove home, tying the sister in the back of the car. The sister in the car was rapidly mutating. By the time they got home, the friend didn't see the sister inside, and just as he was about to check with a flashlight, the sister burst out. After a burst of intense noise inside the house, they could no longer see the sister. However, they still needed to go inside to find the monk's hood to prepare the antidote for the sister. After finding the monk's hood, the 2 of them prepared it in the storage room. Just as the friend was about to go out to find the sister, he was dragged out by her as soon as he opened the door. After a loud noise, the ground was already covered in blood. The younger sister picked up the syringe from the ground and followed the blood trail to the basement. The friend was barely alive, and the sister had completely turned into a werewolf. To show that they were now the same kind, the younger sister scooped up the blood from the ground and ate it. Sure enough, the sister stopped attacking, but the younger sister couldn't keep up the act for long and vomited it all out. The sister started attacking him, and the younger sister hurriedly ran into a room. Inside a drawer, she found a knife. So, she held a knife in one hand and a syringe in the other, cautiously looking around. At this moment, the sister approached, and no matter how much she called her sister's name, there was no response. It seemed she had completely lost consciousness. The sister suddenly lunged at the younger sister, who was so scared she raised her hand to block. When she looked closely, she realized the knife had stabbed into the sister's body, while the syringe was still in her hand. Looking at the sister who was barely alive on the ground, the younger sister didn't inject herself with the syringe but instead hugged her sister. Next, she would become the city's new werewolf. The movie, Ginger Snaps, ends here. A 20-year-old horror film, but it's still quite rare to see a movie with a female werewolf as the protagonist. I have to say, the sister in this movie is really beautiful. Alright, if you want to see more great movie reviews, please follow me. Bye bye.